All right, and we are live. What's going on, team? Johnny Trades here. Today is December 26th, 2025. Market is officially open. It is 7:38 my time, so market's been open for about 8 minutes. I do apologize for being a little late on this open, um, but I was talking with one of our new LTE members. He's doing a great job starting out and wanting to learn, and I couldn't help but talk to him a little longer about just about some questions he had. So excited to have you all here. Hope you can hear me okay and see me okay. It looks like you can. All right, here we go. And we are live. All right, comment below if you can hear me okay and see me okay. And yeah, and we'll go from there. So we're going to go ahead and stick this in the main chat as well. There we go. Send. All right. So MSTR is, well, the markets overall, we like to go with the markets first. They are pushing higher up to 625. It did have a nice little dip down to this moving average and bounced right off of that moving average. So I'd love to see this sell off some more. Doesn't mean it has to sell off, but it's definitely possible. And it could also push up higher. So we do want to be aware of that it can push up higher. We want to see some red though. We want to see some red today. Bitcoin overall, well, let's take a look at that. Bitcoin has a nice little sell-off this morning. It's going to be retesting this 200-day moving average here. Now remember, when it closed on Wednesday, right? Wednesday it closed, it was a half a day. It closed at this point. So I got into a position knowing that it was below at 86 and it pushed all the way up. Now, good thing I didn't get into a heavy position, right? I only took a small position in MSTZ right back here in this area. I got about 12 shares at 1580 and 1592. It gave me a 1585 average. We're up a couple dollars, nothing too crazy. I would have loved to get in just a little bit more. Right at market open when it crossed over this 45 EMA, it would have been nice to get in right there about 1560. Now 1560, it's already up to 16. You know, we kind of missed our little area of momentum here. MSTR, and it is really pushing too, guys. MSTR is selling off. We love to see it. But right now, you know, do I buy more? Do I wait for a pullback? It'd probably be better to wait for a pullback on this one. Now, I did have a LTE member. He was curious about this open position here. Oh man, it's really pushing. I'm up $5 or 2%. Thought it'd been closer to $20, $25. It looks like it's going to pull back a little bit. Bitcoin's selling off. Now it's going to retest. If we break this level, I wouldn't mind buying into MSTZ. I wouldn't mind buying into it at all. Let's see if this guy got in. Were you able to get in okay? All right, looks like it's going to break that level. We are going to see some more selling pressure. Whew, look at that. That is a huge area of opportunity here. Huge sell-off. I'm going to buy, let's make it an even number. Buy another 27 shares here. So now we're up 40 shares. Very light. We still have potential for it to pull back more, but we also have potential for it to push up more. Bitcoin is selling off. I don't want to miss this opportunity. It can go up to 1650 and we can make some decent money here. I have a position size of 40 shares at 1602. Now I could buy more. I could buy another 70, 80 shares or 60 shares to make 100 shares. But if it pulls back, I'd like to have a little bit more so I could buy at a lower price, if that makes sense. Okay, cool, he's in. So now we're up. So what I want to showcase to you here is this POS. If you right click, you can go to chart settings, and then from here it says chart display. Go over to trade, and then go to cost basis. You want to make sure your cost basis is on, your open orders is on, and then showing trading record doesn't really matter. I mean, it shows you where you bought on this chart. You can put it on or you can take it off. I adjust this accordingly whenever I do like recaps. But your cost basis will be on, so you can actually now grab it, right? So here's a little plus. Now it's going to show you, okay, I want to sell a 40 stop at 1%. So if it goes to 1586, it'll hit my sell stop for 40. Or I could see potential profits, and this is where you drag that up. Okay, I want it to go up to 3% to make $19. That's a great area to see your break even, how much you're up, how much you're down, what you're willing to risk, and what you're willing to gain. Now for me, I like to do this now. I'll go to sell, I'll go to stop, I'll put it at say 1%. We'll do 2% as an example. And just for an example, say I sell 10, okay? So I'm going to sell a stop at 10. As this goes up, I can raise my stop price up. And as it continues to push up, I can continue to move this up. Man, this thing's really moving. And as it goes up, I can raise my stop, and the more higher it goes, the higher I can raise my stop to where now I'm a break-even trade. Man, MST is really selling off. I'd love to buy more, but I think this opportunity might be a little overspent. We could see a correction very easily with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of those companies that's very volatile. If the market continues to push up, we can see MSTR follow, but it looks like it's struggling a little bit here. Bitcoin is continuing to sell off. We could see a reverse point here. You know, being up $10 just now to back down to $6, you know, that's real. This thing could come all the way back down and we could actually be down money. Okay, now 40 shares isn't, you know, that significant. It's going to retest the moving average. But this significant sell-off, we could see some upward momentum here and give back all of that trade. See, MSTR is already pushing up again. And see how it got rejected perfectly right off of that moving average? It hit it, it sold off, it couldn't hold, it's selling off more. So in order for this to be bullish, we're going to have to see this thing get all the way back up to that level. It's back to a previous area of support. So this could technically go back up. It doesn't have to, but it definitely can. And just like that, we gave back, you know, quite a bit of our profit. We were up $10, 1.5%. Now we're only up about $5, 0.8%. Now it's only 40 shares, right? It's nothing crazy. Giving us an opportunity to buy some more. So we're going to go ahead and buy another 50. We're going to wait actually. We're going to wait on this one. Hold on. Let's buy another 20. No, we're going to wait a minute. I'm not liking this consolidation right here. What's QQQ doing? It's pulling back a little bit. I like to see QQQ come down even harder, because if QQQ pushes up, usually MSTR will follow. Even if Bitcoin's down a little bit, it will sometimes follow. I know I'm clicking through a lot of different screens here, but let's go ahead and buy another 20 because it looks like the momentum's still there. Okay, so we're gonna buy another 20 shares. We're at 60 shares at 1608. It is pushing up. We're at 1% now. Now this is where we're getting into some significant money, right? So, or a significant share price. If this goes against me back down to 1540, you know, we could lose a nice chunk of change. So what I like to do is hit a stop limit or a stop 1%. Well, maybe not for 60 though. Usually I do about 59, like almost the whole thing. So we're up $14 currently and riding. We could still continue to add to this if we want. MSTR hit my alert. Ooh, Bitcoin is down bad. So we're going to add another 40 shares. Okay, now we have 100 shares at 1617. Now what we're looking for is that 1650 or maybe higher, right? 1650 or higher. That'd give us 2% or about $30 on the day. Nothing too crazy. It is possible, but if this thing goes against us, you know, we could be down $50. So that's not what we want. So we're gonna go to sell, stop, 1%. I'm gonna do 99 shares and sell. And now, as this pushes higher, we can raise our stop. So now we're at break even. We just hit $23. If it goes against us, then at least this is a risk-free trade. Now, if this was below, we'd be risking 1%. 1% would be about $17. But now, because it's above it, we'll actually make money. Even if this goes against us, we're still going to make money. I got to move my alert on open real quick. It's going off. Everything's selling off. These alerts can be so annoying. QQQ also selling off. So big sell off by QQQ. Big sell off by Bitcoin today, which means MSTR should follow. We're up $24. Now Bitcoin's MSTR is trying to recover, but there's no recovery here. There's no recovery potential because Bitcoin's still selling off. QQQ's still selling off. So what we want to see is MSTR below 155. Look where it's at. Now they're trying to buy into it. It's at 1634. Looks like we could potentially even get stopped out. So we don't want to get stopped out here. So you could raise your stop. You could lower your stop. I mean, at one point we were just up $26. There we go. Another leg down, hopefully. Another big leg down by MSTR would be great. So let's see it. Come on. You can even take a little bit off the top if you want. Let's give this some room to move a little bit. Let's give it some room. So I'm going to bring my stop down a little bit because I've gotten stopped out a little too early sometimes as well, where, you know, it's a great setup, but it pulls up a little bit and then sells off more, and then I get stopped out, and then MSTZ goes up, you know, $20, $30, you know, not $20. I'll get stopped out at 10 or 20 cents. I'll lock in money, but then as soon as it stops itself out, it'll push up another $1. And I'd be like, all right, cool, I made $20, $30. But if my stop wasn't so small, I could have actually made $100. There's no reason why this thing should be going up right now. Bitcoin had a big sell-off. Oh, QQQ, that's why. QQQ's trying to recover. Bounced off of that moving average again on the 5-minute time frame. So again, if it could hold, great. If it can't hold and it gets more selling pressure, we get another leg down, MSTR will follow. Go, MSTR coming back down. So that's a thing too about stops. You don't want to have your stop too close, because I actually would have got stopped out at 1627. We would have made money, but I could have risked not making more. So stops are important, but they also need to know how to manage them, how to move them around, how to be comfortable with taking, a $5 loss, a $10 loss, a $20 loss, whatever your risk tolerance is. Come on, we want to see this push down some more. And that could have been the trade, right? Sometimes it happens in 30 minutes. Sometimes it happens in 5 minutes. Sometimes this can trail all day long, right? We've had days where it just pushes up. This day it went up 15%. This day it went up about 8%. This day it went up 12%. This day it went up another, 5%. And even right now, we're on a 5% candle. So this has gone up 5%, or about, let's see, trend line. It's gone up 6% since the open, and we've only caught about 2% of it, which is fine. But being more, obviously getting on at market open, we could have bought right here at 1550s, and we could have had, we could have been up a lot more. We could have been up an extra 4%, which would have been close to our $100 day, right? 98 cents per share, 100 shares, $98. Bitcoin still selling off. QQQ still selling off. So this still has room. Oh, let's see. Does it pop up again? I'd love to see another leg down. Now, if these continue to sell off, then our position is going to be just right. And there we go. It's pushing up some more. So now we're up 1.5%, $20. And as you can see, the indications, it crossed over the moving average. Moving average are pointing upward. Has a nice stair step up. Bitcoin is still continuing to sell off. QQQ is trying to hold. It's retesting this as a resistance now. So if we get another big leg down, significant leg down, it could pass this moving average, then we can see some more selling pressure on MSTR. And there it goes. Another red candle. So then this should be going down, this should be going up. And I'm almost at my 2% goal for the day. It's not a lot. It could have been more, but you can't beat yourself up about it either. So we're going to set our stop now at 16. I want to do 1640, but this thing could continue to push up if the markets sell off. So let's go 1630. Let's just go to break even. We got a break even trade if it continues to come down. I know it sucks because it could. We can get back $20. But QQQ is still selling off, so we should see some more selling pressure. It's testing that low of the day. If we break that low, there we go. Looks like we did. We touched the low. We didn't necessarily break it. If we could break this low of the day, then we could see much more selling pressure from the overall market. Bitcoin looks like it's trying to retrace. And here we go. Are we going to see a huge correction and it's going to just reverse and go back up, giving back all of our profits here? You could also take a little off the top. We could sell 50 shares here if we wanted to. Big green candle. Looks like it's testing it again as support. So what we really want is we want to see this fail. We want to see the support fail for QQQ. Okay, there we go. Another leg down. Now I'm watching this because it will affect MSTR. If we can get another leg down, like I said, then we'd be in a better position here for MSTR. And remember, it's the first 30 minutes of the market, so the market's going to react however it wants to react. Right, and we're just doing our part by watching the market. MSTR, huge, huge red candle, which means we had some nice potential here on MSTZ. Thing is, I don't want to put my stop too close because I could get stopped out and then this thing could run. Yeah, here we go. Another rejection candle. And it could also just hold, right? It looks like it's holding very well. All right, up $37. So now at this point, I'm going to raise my stop. I don't even really care if it runs up higher or not. If I can get it. I'm going to raise my stop to 16.45. That would make me $28. It looks like we might get stopped out right here unless it can break and push higher. 16.45, 16.55. So now we're not only above a break-even trade, we're in profits for this trade. So if it were to go against us, we're locking in money. If it continues to go up, then we can slowly increase our stop loss higher and higher as it pushes up. We just broke that previous resistance, so we're going to go ahead and take that out for now just to get it out of the way. And there we go. It looks like it's starting to push up. 16.54, 16.57. There we go. Now I could raise my stop up to 16.53. I know it's a little tight, but right now I don't even care because it's up, it's up a tremendous amount. It's up 8%. Now it can go up to 10% and go up 15%. Doesn't mean it has to, but it could also come right back down. And look, it lost. QQQ lost that support. Now it's selling off. This is exactly what we want to see. Crypto selling off even more. This is a great trade, guys. This does not always happen, okay? This doesn't always happen in the first 30 minutes. Sometimes it takes a little longer. We'll get a little bit of pullback and we might get another push higher. But my stop's at 16.53. MSTR selling off. If it gives me one more leg up, I'm going to raise my stop to 16.60. $16.60, it just hit 16.63. So we're going to lock in some profits today right here. And there we go. That was a solid trade in my opinion. That was a solid trade. We're up $43, or 2.67%. And what was that, about 43 cents? That was a 43 cents per share move. So I like to aim for 30 to 50 cents on 100 shares. I'd like to get a full dollar when I can. This can continue to push up. It doesn't have to, right? Bitcoin's extremely oversold. It's testing a previous support, which I knew, I identified this as a support. And now it can rally all the way back up. Bitcoin is very volatile. Bitcoin rallied all the way up to this level within 15 minutes. This has sold off within 30 minutes. The markets are extremely volatile. Look at this. It hit my alert, but I didn't hear it hit my alert again below 1623, and it can continue to sell off. I'm not saying it can't, but it's a bit oversold. It's a bit, extended to where this was the move for me, in my opinion. Now it looks like it's bouncing off pre-market levels from Wednesday, where now it can actually bounce and go all the way back up, and it's happened to me before, and then I give back all my profits. So okay, you were up $50, why didn't you lock in profits, stupid? And that's what I tell myself. And also, I got in a little late. That's what I wanted to also let you guys know. If I would have bought in, if I would have got and sat down on my computer at 7:15, looked at this, saw that there was an uptrend, I could have bought my 100 shares at 15.50, 15.60. And then this share price would be way down here, and we could have made $1.15 per share. So we'd be looking at $100 day right now. But I'll take it, right? I had a higher average. It was at 16, 17. I could have also not taken the trade at all and missed out on this opportunity. I could also be trying to get in right now at all-time highs, and this thing could go against me and I could lose money. I've been there. I've been there, guys. FOMO is real. Do not take this trade now. Do not take this trade. MSTR is going back and reversing. This thing can continue to go higher, which means our MSTZ could go lower. It could also sell off still. There's nothing saying that, just because I sold means you have to either. There's a lot of consolidation in this level. I took advantage because it was overbought, overextended at 89,000, and a huge dip down. This is like literally a perfect head and shoulder setup. You can see the head. I wonder if I have any circle drawings here. Let's see. Not necessarily circles. I got rectangles. So this was a perfect head and shoulders. There's the head, there's the left shoulder, there's the right shoulder. And then a huge drop down. Huge, massive. But now there's some support right around this level, right? This is an area that people may potentially buy Bitcoin for a rally up. And that's exactly why I decided to sell. Because this can slowly trickle its way back up. It's sold off, but now it can literally just do this to where you are now back to break even because you wanted to catch $100 instead of $50, right? And I made 42. So, I mean, it wasn't even a perfect $50. Almost. It was very close. And if I would have had my stop loss lower, like say 1638, then we have the potential for it to bounce off of this stop loss. So say I had a stop loss at 1640, well, it would have got hit on this candle and on this candle. So that 1640 stop loss wouldn't have worked either. Now I could have a stop loss at 1638. It didn't touch it. It could potentially bounce and go higher. I'm still in the profit, but only $20. And it could go below, we could get tapped out, and then I get back half of my position. So that's what we did good job of. We raised it to 1640. We've raised it to 1650. We raised it to 1660, and then it went up to 1664, came down on this candle here, and hit 1660, and we locked in profits. Now, can I get back in and take another trade if I wanted to? Yes. And that's about having capital. We had 100 shares. You build up your capital to where you could take multiple 100 share positions, but then you don't want to overtrade. I don't want to take 100 shares here and then it flushes and I give back all my money, because I've done that before too. MSTR curling over. We could see this go lower. It already broke our support from days running, making a lower low, which is great, right? Making a lower low is always good for, I guess, companies that you're shorting. You don't want to see this if you're going long on MSTR. Everyone is really sad right now, whoever is going long on MSTR. So, we betted against Bitcoin. We betted against Michael Saylor and his band of merry men. I don't know why I said that, but there's a lot of bag holders right now because MSTR used to trade way up here, guys. Look at this. $543. Saw a lot of resistance in the 400 and just like we talked about. If you're still watching, it's selling off. It got below this moving average, and now it's just slowly going down. Same thing with this one on the 5-minute. It got below the moving averages, and it crashed. MSTZ, it was the other way around. It was above the moving average. This would have been a solid entry point. And I don't want anyone to feel bad. This isn't making anyone feel bad. There's going to be tons of more trade opportunities. This was just one good solid trade, and I've been doing them daily. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with, I showed up a little late today. That's on me. I could have been on my computer talking to this member and taking the trade while we talk, but I'd rather give value than squeeze another few bucks out of a trade. And if I was able to help this member in any way, shape, or form and give him the information I know so that way he can start making money, then that's invaluable. That's more valuable than anything I could do. So this would have been a good entry. This crossover between the moving average for a solid trade, raising your stop loss up just like we did. That was easy $100 right there. Easy money, guys. 7%, $1 per share. We sold right here. Boom. Beautiful trade. Let me bring this down a little bit. I like WEBULL because there's so many different ways that you can share your trade, share your thoughts, take trades, buy in and out. You saw the stop loss. So from the very beginning when I took the trade, I had no risk. I was risking 1%, right? I was risking about 1% down here. But it never came close, right? And I'll showcase that to you now. It never came close. As soon as we bought in at 16, let me show you where I'm buying and selling, and then we'll wrap up this live stream and I'll answer any questions that you guys might have. Right? So we bought 27 shares at 16.11. Kind of consolidated here, which I didn't really like because this could have actually came back down to touch this moving average. So I would have loved to see this come down more to about 1580s, and then we could have bought way more at 1580 and had a better share price, an average price of 1580, 1590 compared to 16. Even a 1590 share price would have gave us an extra $27 on top of 43. So that would have been like 60 bucks, $60, $70 in profit. But it didn't, and that's the point. So by understanding that, okay, there's actually a nice big green candle, I'm going to buy more. Instead of selling, instead of waiting and missing this whole opportunity, I went ahead and I bought more. So I bought another 20 shares at 16.20, and then I went really heavy and I bought 40 shares at 16.30. A little pullback to 16.20, but it was still above my average price of 16.17. Then I raised my stop to 16.17, and we automatically were a break-even trade. That means if this went against me, I would lose no money. I might have $1,600 into the trade, but I'm not risking all $1,600. I was risking 1%, which would have been on $1,600, like $16. So initially my risk was about 16 bucks. But then I raised my stop above and we would have actually locked in money. So now we are in the money, 1%, about 20 bucks. So either way, we're going to make $20 if this trade goes against me. It pushed up higher. We kept raising our stop. We raised it to 615. We raised it to 1640. 1650, and then if we finally raised it to 1660, and we got a sell order at 1659, and we were able to lock in profit. So really great trade, really great morning, and we did it all in about, it didn't even take that long to make this trade, really, from this candle to this candle, about 19 minutes. So in 19 minutes, we made $43. Again, buying at open and selling here would have been about 30 minutes, resulting in $100. And that's exactly what you can do every single day with these type of setups. Now, not every day it's going to be MSTZ, although I have been having luck with it. There's going to be days when it might be MSTR. I wouldn't really buy into MSTR, but there could be days that, I trade a lot of different companies. Open had a huge pullback. It's almost to where the support level is, but this is also a descending pattern, so I don't like that setup. Bull selling off, sound selling off, LUNR. Again, another beautiful setup on LUNR, getting above the moving average at 10.50, pushing up to 14, 15, even $17. So you could be raising your stop order every day if it's a very slow moving company. But even just this candle here, guys, beautiful move. Got above the moving average, buying at 11.50, selling at that first sign of resistance. That was $2.50 per share, or 20% profit in a single day, in a single 1 hour candle, nonetheless. So it's very possible for you to pull $100 out of the market, 200, 300, 400, whatever your goal is. It's very possible, as long as you risk very little, you manage your risk, and then you also lock in profits. You got to know when to lock in profits. Looks like it's trying to hold at 623 for the overall market. Crypto selling off big time. Another big push down, breaking that support level very easily, which means MSTR should also see it's not selling off as much as we'd like it to. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes the stock will get exhausted and it won't move as much as you'd like it to. There's a lot of other people buying, thinking that this is a great opportunity to buy. You could have market makers just putting a ton of money into it to try to hold it up at certain levels and kind of manipulate the stock a little bit, right? Because QQQ sold off so much and Bitcoin sold off even more, this should be touching like $16.70, if not $17. This should be touching $17 right now. And that's where I get frustrated too. Bitcoin is lower than it was earlier. QQQ was lower than it was earlier for just a moment, but yet MSTR didn't move. And that can happen too. And that can be frustrating to beginners who don't understand the market, who don't watch the company long enough to understand. That's why it's important that you watch maybe the same company every day. Pick 5. That way you don't get too bored. Pick 5 companies. You look at them every single day. You track their movement. Where do they bounce? Where was their support level today? Where was it yesterday? Where's their resistance level? And you watch it every single day, and you start to form your own trade style, your own criterias. Okay, well, I noticed that. Look at this. This is my trading over the last week on MSTZ. This $42 puts us at $250 in a week. How cool would it be as a beginner for yourself to make $250 extra a week? And then over time be able to make maybe $250 in a single day. And we're talking about life-changing money here. And by identifying these levels here, support and resistance, because that's what that is, right? It's support and resistance. I don't want to confuse you guys too much with these other indicators, but buying at support, selling at resistance. Buying at support, selling at resistance. Buying at support, selling at resistance. And that's all we're doing. Today, it didn't really go to plan, right? It didn't really sell off where we wanted. You could buy at support. It didn't go all the way up to resistance, but with a trailing stop, you can lock in money. Here, it broke the trend, right? It was above the green line. It broke that trend. So maybe you don't take that trade yet. Maybe you wait to see if we can get back above this moving average. It did. That's where I bought, and we made some money. Buying at all-time highs isn't the best idea. but you could still make money. And then today, buying where we bought today and locking in money. Now it's back down to 1647 from 1669. So really, we didn't really lose much. From 1659, where I sold, it pushed up another 10 cents, so about $10. Should I have risked $40 to make another 10? No, probably not. So yeah, that was our live stream. It went really well. We were able to lock in 2.66%. We were able to give you guys some more education and some more knowledge, and I hope that helped. And we're done for the trading day. We could always take another trade, but remember, don't stare at the screens too long, don't overtrade, and remember to go outside. You shouldn't spend your whole day trading. That's a great way for you to overtrade, to give back your profits, or to take more losses. Find your setup and take it. The most volatile times in the market are between 7:30 and about 8:30, and that's where you should be making the most money. Let me go back here real quick. Look, red candle, all the way back to moving average. We could have gave back all of our profits and some. So instead of being up $40 or $50, we would literally only be up $20. And then emotions start to play in. Well, I could buy right here. I could buy some more if it dips and if it bounces. Or I'm just going to hold a little longer. And then before you know it, you're back to break even. Well, I'm going to lower my stop a little bit more because it could probably bounce off the green line. And then you lower your stop even lower. So instead of locking in $40 or $50, you're down $50. You're frustrated, you're upset, and you spent your whole day wishing and hoping. And that's exactly what I told our LTE members. I'm not here to wish and hope. I'm not here to expect anything. The market owes us nothing. It's all about finding direction, understanding that it's bullish for us, and taking that opportunity to buy. I could have not taken this trade at all, and we would never have made money. I could have been a knucklehead and not sold right here and been down half the position that I made. So it's all about you getting in tune with the market. And by showing up every day, you can. By trading every day and practicing, you can get aligned with the market and find your trading style. This wasn't always my trading style. I used to trade pre-market momentum stocks. I'd make $100, $200 in 5-10 minutes, and I'd lose that much money in 5 or 10 minutes. And that was just a little bit too emotional for me at that time. Could I go back and try to revisit it now that I have a little bit more information, now that I have a little bit more skills? Sure. But I wouldn't put my entire position and all my money into a single pre-market runner and then miss out on other opportunities like this. Making 1 or 2% a day is very good. Now we're up 2.66% today, and all I wanted was 1%. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys. I appreciate your time. Like always, smash that like button for me, and we will see you all in the Discord. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to do a voice chat with me and just kind of have a phone call, I could do some phone calls with you as long as you are a LTE member. I don't mind. And yeah, I want you guys to enjoy your weekend. It is Friday, so please don't overtrade. Please don't, give back profits that we took all week to get. We're up $250 in a week. It's amazing. By making 2% a day, we just locked in 10% for the week. For the week. And there's some days we can make 10% in a day. But you'll never know unless you show up to the market, you put in the work and the time, you practice until you form a strategy that works for you. So thank you all. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you all in the Discord and on Sunday for our Sunday night stock talk, where we go over the game plan for next week on how we can do it all over again. Later, guys.